Hi people, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. My topic for today is Men of the Bible series, and the case study is Gideon. I'll take you through the life of Gideon, and it goes like this. The story starts out by proclaiming that the Lord was angry with the Israelites for falling into sin and worshipping idols and false gods. So, uh, the Israelites were worshipping Baal, and God was not happy with the way they were carrying themselves. And by worshipping idols, uh, it provoked the wrath of God upon them. And what God decided to do, he allowed the Midianites to take over the Israelites. And so after, as a way of punishing them for turning against him, once there's a judge taking place, the Israelites will turn to God. Once the judges died, the Israelites would forget God. And so God had to allow them to suffer at the hands of the Midianites so that they would turn back to him. And so the Lord left them into the hands of the Midianites for 7 years, and finally fed up, the Israelites called out to God for help, and God sent Gideon. After the Israelites suffered at the hands of the Midianites for so many years, the Israelites thought, let us cry out to God for help. And so God heard their cries for help, and he sent a man by the name Gideon to be their judge. And Gideon was a small boy threshing wheat. The angel appeared before Gideon, saying, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." The angel tells Gideon that he will deliver the Israelites from the Midianites, to which Gideon says that he is just a small young boy. Gideon then asks the angel for a sign to prove that he is speaking with God, leaves and returns with an offering of food. So the angel combats the food, and Gideon then realizes that it is truly an angel of the Lord. And that same night, the Lord tells Gideon to destroy one of his father's altars to Baal and replace it with an altar of God, and sacrifice a bull on it. So the Lord tells Gideon to destroy the altars that his father had placed on to worship Baal. He tells Gideon to destroy that altar and to replace it with the altar of God. And Gideon does so at night so that he is not caught. So the townspeople discover that Gideon did it, and they demanded his execution. So Gideon's father, Joash, exclaimed that if Baal was truly God, he would defend himself. So the townspeople were not happy because Gideon destroyed his father's altar of Baal, and they wanted to execute him for doing that. And so Baal was telling them that if Baal was truly God, he would defend himself. But Baal was not able to defend himself, and so Baal was destroyed. And the Lord tells Gideon that he must cut down the size of his army, because the Israelites won't contribute their win to God. So God was telling Gideon to reduce the number of his army, for they were too big. So the reason why the Lord told Gideon to reduce the size of his army is that God will be glorified. If the Israelites, if Gideon was not told to reduce the size of his army, the Israelites would think that it is them that brought victory instead of God who brought them victory. And Gideon does it by asking any person who was afraid to leave. And 22,000 out of the 10,000 people left. And God said there were still too many people, so he tells Gideon to go down to a river and see how the men were drinking. God instructs Gideon to only keep people who drank like a dog. And so Gideon complied. He looked at the way the men were drinking water in the river, and if the men were drinking water like dogs, they would remain. If men were drinking water with their hands, they would leave. And so Gideon was left with 300 men. And that night, Gideon was instructed to go to the Midianite valley and see what the Midianites were dreaming. And in the valley, Gideon overhears a conversation between two Midianites, in which one Midianite says he had a dream where a loaf of bread tumbling down the hill, the Midianite's tent, and the other Midianite interprets the dream that a sword of Gideon laying wrath upon the Midianites. And after hearing this, Gideon decides to go back up the valley and start invading. And so Gideon tells his people to divide into 3 groups, and then he gives everyone trumpets and jars with torches in them. After marching to the Midianite camp, everyone blew their trumpets and broke the jars. And they stood there repeating, "A sword of the Lord and Gideon! A sword of the Lord and Gideon!" All the Midianites fled in terror. And the Midianites were thinking, "Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! We are scared! Let us run!" And all the Midianites fled in terror, and Gideon then sent messengers to other Israelites about the Midianites. So the other Israelites captured them and killed their leaders. So what I've learned from this story is that God promises that He will be with us, and the other lesson is that God's ways are not our ways, and that we should rely on God's power. If you've learned something about the men of the Bible series, that is Gideon, you can comment down below. And have a good day.